Scorpio, something powerful is about to reach you, and tomorrow, October 29th, may be the day it all breaks open. Not everyone finds this message. If you're here, it means your soul has been called. Called to awaken. Called to let go. Called to step through a door that only opens once in a lifetime. Because what's coming for you isn't just change, it's a divine interruption. A sacred truth you never expected is about to be revealed, and yes, you may cry, but not out of pain. This time, it will be because your heart is finally free. Take a deep breath, Scorpio. The air around you is not ordinary air today. It carries whispers from the unseen. Your angels. Your ancestors. Even your future self. They've all gathered around this very moment to tell you, your time has come. This isn't just a reading. It's a reckoning. It's not about predictions. It's about alignment with the truth, with your destiny, with the divine plan that has been written in the heavens since the day you were born. Let me be clear. On October 29th, something will be revealed. Something that was hidden from you. A person's secret. A soul's purpose. A message sent from beyond. It may come as a conversation, a phone call, a sudden dream, or a moment of silence so clear it feels like thunder. You may not expect it. But your spirit will recognize it immediately. This video is your preparation. Your spiritual briefing. Your divine confirmation. So please, Scorpio, do not click away. Stay with me. Let's walk through this together. And as we begin, take a moment to mark this shift in energy. Say it out loud, or better yet, comment below to anchor it. I am ready to receive the truth and the blessing that are meant for me on October 29th. Every time someone writes those words, they send out a frequency of acceptance to the universe. And I believe deeply that when we say yes to truth, truth finds us faster. Scorpio, you have always been the sign of mystery, transformation, and depth. You don't do superficial. You don't pretend. And because of that, your path is never ordinary. This is not just another day in your life. This is a spiritual checkpoint. A page turning. A veil lifting. I invite you to stay with me, not only because we're about to explore what the stars and cards are revealing, but because your heart is ready to hear what it has been waiting for all along. Let me also take a moment, from the depths of my soul, to thank you. Your presence here is a sacred offering. Every comment you leave, every like you click, every time you share or subscribe doesn't just help this channel grow. It strengthens a web of divine connection that brings more light to this world. Your energy is felt here. Your soul matters here. And your support makes this mission possible. Now breathe again, Scorpio. Feel the pulse of destiny at your fingertips. And ask yourself this simple question: what brought me here? Right now? You may not fully know the answer yet. But stay with me, because what the universe is about to reveal through the cards, the stars, and the silence between each word is going to shake something loose within you. Something holy. Something necessary. Something real. Are you ready? Scorpio, as we move deeper into the sacred rhythm of this message, we now arrive at a moment of profound cosmic alignment and energetic intersection that carries more than just astrological mechanics. The sun, representing the core of your identity, your conscious will, and the spark of divine individuality within you, is forming a powerful opposition to Uranus, the wild awakener, the agent of disruption, innovation, and sudden liberation. This exact alignment on October 29th isn't just a date on the calendar, it's a coded pulse sent directly to your soul, designed to shatter illusions and illuminate hidden truths you may not even know you were ready to receive. When the Sun and Uranus stand in opposition, it often feels like a spiritual earthquake. And for someone as attuned as you, Scorpio, who naturally walks between shadow and light, this energy won't simply pass unnoticed. It rattles the soul. It cracks open the hard shell of pride, fear, or old patterns, and in doing so, it allows the light of sudden clarity to flood into places where you've long carried confusion, resentment, or quiet ache. You might experience this as a text message that shocks you, a call that reopens a chapter you thought was closed, or a confession that shifts the way you understand someone or even yourself. But it's not random. Uranus doesn't disrupt to destroy. It disrupts to set you free. There's something sacred about the timing here. The moon, soft and intuitive, will be moving through Pisces on this dais sign known for its empathy, depth, and divine receptivity. This adds an emotional weight to whatever comes your way. You may find yourself crying unexpectedly, not because you're broken, but because the truth you receive breaks open the dam you've held inside for too long. This is not weakness. This is spiritual detox. The waters of Pisces wash over you to cleanse the places where you've kept yourself silent, guarded, or emotionally exiled. And perhaps this is the beauty of astrology. It reminds us that nothing within us happens in isolation. Your inner storm mirrors the skies above. And what seems like chaos is often the exact path to peace. So if on October 29th, something shakes you, it's not because life is out to destabilize you. It's because the old version of you is being gently, firmly unraveled to make room for a version that is more honest, more empowered, and more aligned with your truth. Remember, Scorpio, you are ruled by Pluto, the planet of transformation. Change is not your enemy. It's your element. You were born to transmute darkness into light, fear into faith, silence into power. And perhaps this moment isn't just astrological. Perhaps it's spiritual preparation. You see, life doesn't always speak through burning bushes or booming voices. Sometimes, it speaks through timing. Through energetic ruptures that leave you raw enough to finally hear the whisper of grace. In the rush of sudden change, you may just find the answer to a prayer you've long forgotten you whispered. In moments like this, I'm reminded of a quiet verse that has carried me through many personal storms. Be still, and know that I am God. There is healing in stillness. There is comfort in surrender. And while the world around you may tremble, you, dear Scorpio, are being invited to stand still in the middle of the shift and recognize that this isn't the end. It's the unveiling. The beginning. The holy ground between the chapter you've survived and the one you're about to write. So if your heart races, if your hands shake, if tears fall without explanation, honor them. They are not weakness. They are the soul's way of saying, I recognize this truth. I am ready. Let yourself feel what you need to feel. Let go of the need to understand it all right now. Trust the energetic intelligence of this cosmic dance. Let it break you open in all the right ways. And while I cannot tell you exactly what the message will be, I can promise you this, it will come. And when it does, it will not leave you the same. Stay open. Stay listening. The truth has been waiting for you. Scorpio, as we step deeper into this sacred unfolding, your tarot spread reveals a breathtaking message, one that speaks not only to where you are now but to where your soul is longing to go. The cards that appeared for you are not just symbolic. They are energetic portals. They are mirrors reflecting back to you the spiritual crossroads you now stand at. And perhaps more than anything, they are a quiet whisper from the universe, saying, "It's time." The first card, Perdenforgiven enters this part of the journey with tender, undeniable clarity. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It is not about denying the pain or excusing the wound. It is about setting your own heart free from the weight it was never meant to carry forever. You see, when we hold on to guilt, resentment, or regret, we don't just block love from others, we block the flow of divine energy within ourselves. This card is not only calling you to forgive others, more importantly, it's asking you to forgive yourself. That moment you still beat yourself up over, the words you wish you could take back, the silence you held when you should have spoken, the love you gave away too quickly or withheld too long, all of it. The path forward requires that you no longer drag those memories like chains behind you. As one of my favorite guiding truths says, you cannot heal what you continue to punish. Let this card remind you, your healing begins the moment you give yourself permission to stop reliving the wound. And then comes Allegria, joy. This card doesn't arrive gently. It bursts in like morning sunlight after a long, stormy night. It tells you that when forgiveness cracks your heart open, joy flows in, not as a fleeting feeling but as a holy current. And it may surprise you. You may find yourself laughing when you thought all you had left were tears. You may smile at your reflection for the first time in months and feel a strange warmth in your chest, like hope has come home again. Allegria isn't just emotional, it's alchemical. It transforms your pain into purpose, your confusion into clarity, your detachment into connection. It reminds you that you are still capable of feeling wonder. Still capable of love. Still capable of delight. Just like the first wildflower that dares to bloom after a harsh winter, your soul is preparing to bloom again. And that blooming is not proof that the past didn't happen, it's proof that it no longer defines you. The final card, Camino Abierto, the open road, is perhaps the most sacred of the three. It reveals that something is shifting in your external world. Not in theory. Not in imagination. But tangibly, visibly, soon. A door is opening, but not just any door. This is the one you've knocked on in prayer without realizing it. The one that stayed closed until your inner landscape was ready to walk through it. But here's the catch. The door won't swing open if your hands are still full of what you refuse to let go. This is why forgiveness came first. Why joy had to follow. The Camino opens to those who are willing to walk into the unknown light even if they still feel a little afraid. It's no coincidence that this sacred alignment is happening on October 29th. This is what I often refer to as a divine hinge in your timeline, where what you do spiritually, emotionally, and even energetically will ripple forward into all that comes next. I often remind those I guide that transformation doesn't begin when the external world changes. It begins when the internal landscape surrenders. This is the moment where you stop surviving and start living. Not because it's easy, but because it's aligned. And when alignment replaces struggle, your energy changes. your decisions change. Your path changes. So Scorpio, I invite you to not just reflect on this message, but to anchor it. Speak it aloud. Write it below. Let it ripple. Let it activate something bold and irreversible within you. Write this now: I am ready to release the past and step into my path of light. And mean it not as a promise to me, but as a commitment to your own becoming. The cards are not guessing. They are remembering for you what your soul already knows, that it's time. That you're ready. That joy is not behind you. It's ahead. And it's waiting for the moment you decide to walk toward it. Scorpio, with all that has been revealed so far through the cosmic alignments, the tarot gateway of release and joy, you might believe you've already seen the depth of this moment. But in truth, everything you've felt is only a shadow of what is still unfolding. Because what the universe whispers now is not simply a message, it is a gentle, powerful reminder: you don't know the full story yet. Not even close. And yet, every invisible thread has already been weaving toward this moment of revelation. You, Scorpio, are the zodiac's keeper of mystery. You read between the lines. You sense undercurrents others miss. But even you have blind spots. And the irony is, what's hidden isn't dark or dangerous, it's luminous. It's sacred. It's been protected from your view until your soul could hold it with both hands, not trembling in fear but steady with faith. The universe doesn't withhold truth out of cruelty. It waits for readiness. And readiness, dear soul, doesn't come through perfection, it comes through surrender. What's arriving is not a clue, not a hunch, but a full unveiling. And it may not come in the form you expect. It might be a voice in the silence. A shift in the room's temperature when no one else is there. A sentence from a stranger that lands too perfectly to be accidental. Or even a dream so vivid you wake with tears and clarity in equal measure. These are not just feelings. These are coordinates. These are spiritual signals that the unseen is finally becoming seen. Perhaps you felt alone, even when surrounded by others. Perhaps you've questioned if anyone really understands the weight you carry, the losses you've endured, the walls you've had to build. But tomorrow, something or someone will show you just how deeply loved, guided, and watched over you truly are. And it won't be abstract. It will be personal. Raw. Direct. It may even shake you. But what it brings is peace, not chaos. Wholeness, not confusion. This kind of revelation is not just about information. It's about transformation. The kind that shifts your inner reality so completely that it echoes into your outer world. And what's most beautiful is that it has always been orchestrated for your healing. For your growth. For your return to alignment. There is someone or perhaps several who have been interceding for you from beyond the veil of logic. You may not remember their face, but their soul remembers yours. They have been carrying your name in light, whispering your hope into every crack of despair, holding your hand through every silent breakdown. And now, they're making themselves known. Not to frighten you. Not to overwhelm. But to remind you that you have never been walking alone. That every step you thought was isolated was actually surrounded. Supported. Witnessed. This is the kind of moment I often describe as a divine unfolding. One in which the choreography of the universe becomes so intricate, so intimate, that you feel your entire inner landscape rearranging. And that rearrangement is not destruction, it's sacred order returning. It's the removal of illusion so that only truth remains. It's the vibration of peace humming inside your chest even as your eyes fill with tears. You may not know what to expect. That's okay. The point isn't to predict, it's to trust. To allow. To be present enough that when it arrives, you don't miss it. Because there's a door opening. And behind it is the kind of truth that changes everything, not because it adds pressure, but because it dissolves the lie that you were ever unworthy of love, of guidance, of divine intervention. And if you need a reminder of why this is happening now, listen carefully. Sometimes the universe speaks loudest through subtle signs. And sometimes, in the quiet, you'll hear your own name being spoken by light. Stay close. Stay open. You are moments away from a revelation that will remind you, even in the silence, you were seen. Even in the dark, you were led. And even in the uncertainty, you were being carried toward this exact turning point where you no longer have to figure it all out. You just have to receive it. Scorpio, as we continue walking this path of awakening together, something extraordinary is revealing itself not only through the tarot, not only in the stars, but in the rhythm of your lived experience. When the Wheel of Fortune appears twice in a single reading, it is not just a message. It is a cosmic decree. The old cycle has ended. A new chapter has already begun. And you, whether you feel prepared or not, are standing right at its threshold. This is not a metaphorical moment. It is tangible. It is energetic. It is now. The double appearance of this archetype confirms what your soul has likely been sensing for weeks. You can no longer go back. Whatever was once familiar but heavy, comforting but stagnant, has dissolved behind you like mist. And what lies ahead may not yet be fully visible, but it is undeniably pulling you forward. This is what destiny feels like, not always certain, but deeply aligned. The signs that you're entering this window of divine movement are subtle yet unmistakable. Dreaming of light or rushing water? Your subconscious is signaling emotional release. Hearing the same phrase or lyric repeatedly? That's energetic synchronicity trying to get your attention. Running into someone from the past, but without the sting of old resentment? That's healing made real. You are not imagining these things. You are perceiving the ripple of energetic order, the echo of divine timing brushing up against the edges of your life. But awareness alone is not enough. Action is now required. Even the Wheel of Fortune only turns when the soul begins to move with it, not resist it. So if you've been waiting for a sign to make a decision, to send that message, to step into that next version of yourself, this is it. The astrology. The energy. The messages. They are converging here, on October 29th, for a reason. There's no going back to hesitation. There's only moving forward with grounded faith. And that movement isn't reckless, it's intentional. If there is something you've been putting off, Scorpio, do it now. If fear has been keeping you paralyzed, meet it not with force, but with faith. And if you are still in prayer, let those prayers rise from a place of gratitude, not desperation. Not because the challenges don't exist, but because you've finally come to realize you are not powerless within them. Numerologically, this moment is supported by sacred codes. The numbers 9, 22, 29, and 111 are keys unlocking the meaning behind what you're experiencing. 9 signals an ending that clears space for new light. 22 grounds your vision into structure and form. 29 announces the truth, perhaps one you were not yet ready to hear until now. And 111? That is the gateway. The threshold. The portal where thoughts begin to shape reality, where what you believe begins to breathe itself into existence. Use this knowledge practically. Anchor it. Emerald green and silver light are not just colors, they are frequencies. Emerald speaks to heart-centered courage, while silver aligns with clarity and intuition. Wear them. Meditate with them. Journal beneath their energy. Let them wrap around your intentions like sacred threads. And as your energy shifts, so must your physical vessel. Reduce tension through breathwork. 5 minutes in the morning can soften what stress hardens. Drink more water. It may sound simple, but hydration supports emotional detox. Ease off caffeine, nourish your nervous system with vitamins B and C, and let your body support the transformation your spirit is undergoing. In your work life, don't force what's stuck. Trust that what is truly aligned will open when you stop chasing and start allowing. In love, be honest. You don't have to be strong all the time. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is sacred truth. And with finances, manage what you have wisely, but do not shrink in fear. Prosperity is near. Not because you hustle harder, but because you align more deeply. Scorpio, you're not being asked to be perfect. You're being asked to be present. And that presence, that willingness to stay open in the face of transformation, is the most courageous act of all. The wheel is turning. Your name is written on it. Step forward. It's time. Scorpio, this final part of your journey is not merely a conclusion, it is a sacred pause. A moment of stillness before the shift. And within that stillness comes a question that has the power to awaken everything dormant inside of you. If you were completely free tomorrow, free of fear, regret, guilt, expectation, what would you do first? Not what you should do. Not what others want from you. But what your soul longs for. Would you pick up the pen and write the book you've buried in your heart for years? Would you finally pack your bags and move to that place that calls to your spirit and whispers? Would you begin a path of deeper spiritual self-discovery, no longer afraid of the truths it may reveal? Or would you simply, gently, wrap your own heart in compassion and say, I forgive you? This question, though simple, is not passive. It is a key. And when you hold it with sincerity, it unlocks a door that many spend lifetimes avoiding. Because to admit what you truly desire means you must also confront everything you've used to suppress it: fear, shame, stories of not being ready, worthy, or strong enough. But those stories are not you. They were survival tools in moments of pain. And now, you no longer need them. You are not being asked to be fearless, you are being asked to choose love, even in the presence of fear. Place your hand over your heart, Scorpio. Take a breath. Not the kind you've taken 1,000 times out of habit, but one that comes with intention. A breath that says, I'm listening now. I'm present. I'm open. And as you breathe, let these words become your anchor. I am light. I am loved. I am ready for truth. Speak them aloud if you feel moved. Whisper them if your voice trembles. Write them if your hands shake. It is not the volume that matters, but the authenticity. Your soul knows when you mean it. And perhaps what comes next won't be grand or dramatic. Perhaps it will be quiet, like the first moment you sit alone and feel peace instead of loneliness. Like the way your shoulders soften when you stop trying to prove yourself. Like the tears that fall not because you've lost something, but because you've been found. Because, finally, you feel seen. Not by others, but by yourself. This moment is sacred because it reminds you that you've never needed to be fixed. You've only needed to remember. The tears that may come tomorrow are not a breakdown. They are the sacred waters of release. They are the final baptism of your old story, washing it away so your new chapter can begin unburdened. In many ancient traditions, tears are considered evidence of truth, a sign that the heart has touched something real, something divine. So let them come. Welcome them. Let them carry the weight away. And when they've done their work, when your spirit feels raw but clean, ask again, what would I do with my freedom? And then take one small step toward it. Just one. Not because you have to get it all perfect, but because momentum is sacred. And life responds to movement with miracles. You don't need to know the full plan. You just need to take the first faithful step. This is not the end of your story. This is the part where your soul stands taller, your eyes see clearer, and your heart finally beats without apology. Because you, Scorpio, are not here to simply endure. You are here to rise, to remember, to create, to love, and above all, to live freely. Let this question guide you. Let this truth anchor you. And let this moment be the one that changes everything. Scorpio, if you've made it this far, you already know this was no ordinary video because you are no ordinary soul. October 29th isn't just another day on the calendar. It is a divine interruption, a sacred breaking point, a soft yet undeniable turning of the tide. This is the moment you stop living as a background character in your own life story and rise to become the radiant, resilient soul you were created to be. The wheel has already turned, the portal is open, and all of heaven seems to pause, waiting to see what you will do with this freedom. Take a breath. Let it settle in your body. And now ask yourself, am I willing to stop surviving and finally start receiving? Am I ready to trade my heaviness for healing, my guilt for grace, my doubt for direction? Because Scorpio, the truth is, you've already survived the worst. You've already walked through the shadows. And now, God, through every divine whisper, through every cosmic reply, is extending light back into your life. This is not random. It is divinely timed. And it's just for you. You don't have to know exactly how to move forward. You just have to stop clinging to what no longer serves you. The miracle doesn't ask for perfection. It only asks for permission. Are you willing to let love in again? Are you willing to believe that peace is your birthright, not a distant reward, but a living, breathing presence that wants to dwell in you right now? As the day unfolds, I invite you to take action, not from pressure, but from power. Journal what your soul is whispering. Meditate beneath the frequency of emerald and silver. Forgive yourself softly. Breathe deeply. And above all, speak out loud, I am ready for the truth. I am ready to walk into joy. I am ready to receive what was always mine. And now, I gently ask you, As a part of our soul family at Miracle of the Sign, if this message touched something in you, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe if you haven't yet, and share it with someone who may also need healing light today. Your support isn't just algorithmic, it's energetic. Every interaction you make sends out ripples of faith and love into the collective. And if you feel called, write this in the comments below. I am ready to receive my truth, my joy, and my liberation on October 29th. When you write it, it becomes a declaration. It signals not just to me, not just to this community, but to the universe itself. I am stepping into my new chapter with eyes wide open and heart unguarded. And finally, Scorpio, if you remember nothing else from this message, remember this. Your tears tomorrow will not be a sign of breakdown, but of breakthrough. They will not fall from fear, but from freedom. They are the water that washes away the dust of old burdens and makes room for resurrection. Because your soul does not end here, right begins again. Right now. So tell me, if this is your rebirth, what will you do with your new beginning? Because I believe in you. The universe believes in you. And somewhere deep inside, I know you do too. Let the light in. You are ready.